The landing page report is a really insightful report within Google Analytics 4. And to be honest, it's one of the first reports that I look at because it gives you insight into what pages users are landing on and how they're then interacting with the site. So without further ado, let's jump in and have a look at the landing page report and the kind of information that you can get from it. So here I am in my Google Analytics 4 and I've started on the home page here. But to view the landing page report, if I click reports and then go into engagement, you can see that there's a landing page report here. So fairly easy to find the information, and you can see from here what I've got is I've got my dimension of landing page, and then I've got certain metrics along the top here. So I've got sessions, active users, new users, average engagement time per session, key events, total revenue, and session key event. And you can hover over each one and kind of give you an idea of what those metrics are telling you. But of course, you can obviously customize a report and kind of build out the metrics that you want to see. So if I just wanted to focus on a particular area or a particular section of the site that users land on, I can do that either by using the search function. So if I, for example, search for blog, I can see all of the different blogs that users are landing on as their first page in a particular session. Or I can even use the filter option up here. So I can click add filter. And I can, use a different filter if I wanted to, but for this one, I'm going to choose landing page plus queries. Query string contains blog. And if I click apply, that will then show me all of the blogs that users land on. And I can quickly see that actually, fairly, I would say a fairly decent engagement time of 45 seconds. This one here, views per second and demographic data blog, and even audience triggers a little bit lower than the average. So maybe there's something I need to do there. I could actually then add a secondary dimension. So if I click the plus button here, I've got the option to add in lots of secondary dimensions. And just for this example, let me choose session source medium. So this tells me the page that users landed on that was the first page in a session, so landing page, and where they came from. So you can see here I've got quite a bit of traffic from Google Organic, and then it's sort of also I get a bit of traffic from LinkedIn, possibly when I post about a new blog, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to X that out. You can see I've added in annotations here. If I wanted to just focus on a particular page and visualize it in this chart here, I could choose that landing page here and click plot rows, and that would change the report here. So perhaps if I made a change, I updated it from an SEO perspective or posted about it on LinkedIn, I can see if there is any uptick there. You may have seen, if I remove the filter, that we've got this not set here. This is a bit of a pickle, and it does, it can be a question that clients ask. So how does this happen? So there are a couple of culprits. The session might time out. So if someone's left the tab open for longer than 30 minutes and then comes back, the user returns to the tab and triggers a new session. But because the page didn't load, there's no page view event and therefore no landing page. So you could, for example, change the session timeout. There could be an example where the session crossed over from 11:59 into a new day, and the new session doesn't have a new page view, resulting in a not set value. There could be other reasons, some technical reasons, and actually there is, potentially your Google Analytics tag fires before another Google Analytics event. But this is the landing page report here. And obviously there's a lot of things we can gather from this. This can give you an idea of which pages are driving lots of traffic. It can give you an idea of, what kind of pages, what helps people stick around, what pages are driving key events. So you can then make a decision, actually, I really need to focus on these pages, or these are pages that I shouldn't spend so much time on. This landing page here is a dimension, but there is another option where you have landing page almost as a metric actually, and I'll show you what that looks like now. So I've gone into the explore section and I've created a couple of different freeform explorations here. One of these is called this entrances, views and exits. And I've got entrances here as a metric. So this gives you an idea of the number of times that a page was the first page view for a particular session. So it's not landing page as a dimension, it's got entrances as the metric there. And I've combined it with views and exits, really to give me an idea of, are there any pages that are driving a lot of traffic, but users are leaving from? Are there any pages that are driving a lot of views, but they're not necessarily the one that gets the sort of the first page on a session? So it helps me to understand what's happening with my site and if there's anything I need to make in terms of a change. So the landing page report is definitely a kind of a fundamental report for any data-driven marketer. It gives you an idea of which pages are driving that sort of experience on your site. So heading to engagement, click on landing page, and then see what's happening on your site. All right, enjoy.